Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. I'm Zemor, the dad in DPS, and today's video is all about automatic rifles and what I consider to be the top 5 in Fallout 76. And if you like videos like this, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and let's get on with the picks. Now this first pick is an oldie but a goodie, and that would be the Tesla rifle. Now, like most of the weapons that are going to be on this list, it does have a very niche and specific way to use it. So as you can see, we are not currently attacking any enemies. And the reason for this weapon is best used on large groups of enemies and is not the best weapon to use on a singular target. Because of the way the Tesla rifle works, you want more enemies so that you can absolutely devastate as many as possible in the one go. Because the reality is, if you get enough enemies together, you're gonna save ammo and completely annihilate everything. And this is the thing about the Tesla rifle. It should be used in events where there is a large number of enemies, or it should be used on large groups of enemies that you have gathered up and decided to destroy. And you're going to see this in a little second. The reason why I'd recommend that you gather up large groups of enemies rather than, just kill them one by one, is because the ammo is one of the more expensive ones to use. And as you're seeing, we are able to annihilate these ghouls all fairly quickly using this weapon. This is a great weapon for events like Radiation Rumble, Moonshiner's Jamboree, ones where there's high mob density. And it's not to be used in single targets. You will kill single target enemies quite easily, but you get far more use out of it. And on top of that, because of the way it works, you get a lot more ammo back from enemies. Because look at this, we're just gonna take all the ammo, if not more than what we just used, back in such a short amount of time. And this is the thing about this weapon. It is not the best at single target damage. It's not going to take down Errol, it's not going to take down the Queen or any other bosses. But it will take down trash mobs, and it'll take it down better than any other weapon that you can have in the game. Now, I think it'd be a bit mean of me to not show you the weapons we were using in today's video to give you an idea of how we were using them. And the first one is Unlimited Power, the Tesla rifle and number 5 on our list. This has quad, so giving it 300% ammo capacity, plus 25 weapon speed and 50 damage resistance while aiming. Quad is the best roll on this weapon that you can get, and the only thing that doesn't make this a god roll is the lack of reloading on it. But still, it's an absolutely cracked weapon and very good for mincing large groups of enemies very quickly. Now, the next weapon we have coming up is the Handmade rifle. Now, it's only number 4 on our list because, unfortunately, what it does, one of the other weapons on here does far superior. Now, this is a weapon that can be used in stealth, out of stealth. It has great accuracy. It has great damage, great ammo capacity. It's just a very, very efficient and good weapon to use as a rifle. The main advantage it has over its more powerful counterpart is that it is a far easier weapon to obtain early on in the game and to create versions of. So it is far more reliable than that weapon, but at the same time not as good. And as you're seeing, we are absolutely annihilating these mole miners with minimal effort. And that's in stealth, but outside of stealth, we are able to do just as much damage to them. It really, well, not just as much damage, but you get what I mean. It's not a huge stretch to annihilate any enemies you come up against, because this is just a very consistent and powerful weapon, and it's why it's on the list at all, because there are lots of automatic rifles in the game, but this is one of the best by far. Now, the next one on our list is Das Vidania, another quadruple ammo capacity weapon with damage while aiming and bonus VATS crit charge. Now, this one is sort of short of being a god roll because you can't use both of the bottom effects together, but it is a very good weapon. And you can see what we've got on here. It is just a consistent and powerful weapon, and quad is one of my favourite things to put on a weapon because it's just a very good way to pump out damage really quickly. Now, the next weapon on the list is not to be confused with its counterpart, the Plasma Flamer. This is the Enclave Plasma Flamer. This is one of the harder weapons to get a hold of on this list because it requires a lot of finagling and finding the mod for it, because the Flamer mod is very difficult to come by in-game due to the way that the game mechanics work. Don't ask me why, it's just a pain in the butt, as is the actual Flamer itself. Now this weapon is absolutely insane. It is versatile in the fact that it can take down just about any enemy with relative ease, and this includes big enemies like bosses like Earl, the Queen. It is very, very good at doing damage on anything. There is not a single enemy in the game that I would recommend that you don't use this against, because it is just so powerful and so consistent on what it does. You point it at something, it will die. Now, its major downsides, unfortunately, are that it is a very fragile weapon, and because of its extreme fire rate, it will run out of ammo relatively quickly. So if you're not using it in a sparing fashion, you will literally break it and lose all your ammo. But the damage on this thing is one of the highest in the game. It has been consistently powerful since its inception, and if you can get a hold of one of these with some good legendary effects, you are going to be able to kill just about anything you point it at with relative ease. Number 3 on our list is the Rump Administration, the Enclave Plasma Flamer. Now this has executioners on there, so that gives me more damage when things are lower health, so this is perfect for long drawn out boss fights, which is the main reason I wanted this weapon with what it's got. And it has 25 weapon speed and 1 perception. Now again, this is just short of being a god roll. Reload speed would definitely be the better pick in the bottom, or movement speed while aiming, one or the other. But this is a very powerful weapon, and you can see exactly what we've got on here, and this thing will melt just about anything, which makes it number 3 on our list. Now, of the last 2 weapons, any of them could take the top spot. However, I'm gonna have to give the top spot to the next weapon. And number 2 is the Fixer. Now, if you don't know this weapon, it is a rare variant of the combat rifle. It has insane damage and a great fire rate. It's just the far superior version of its little brother, and subsequently a far superior version of essentially the Handmade, because that is essentially a combat rifle as well. Now, this weapon is primarily at its peak when you use it in stealth. It is one of, if not the best stealth weapon in the game, and absolutely devastates enemies. You're seeing this Mirelurk Queen is absolutely powerless against this weapon. It is just so consistent and so powerful. It is one of the more difficult weapons on the list to acquire, however, because to get a legendary version of it, you're going to have to go through the quest line of the quest Encrypted, where you can summon the Imposter Sheepsquatch and get it as a rare plan. Now, obviously, these are droppable, so you can buy them, you can get them off other people, but if you were to do this on your own, it can be rather awkward to get hold of. And you saw the damage it was putting out. It is just a very consistent and powerful weapon, and I think it would be great with anyone's collection, but it is only number 2 for a couple of reasons. And now we come to our number 2. The Bloodied Fixer, with bullets explode for area damage, as well as damage resistance while reloading, and then it has its innate effects of sneaking speed and stealth and shadows for being a fixer. Now, again, the Fixer is possibly, if not the best stealth weapon in the game, and it absolutely dwarfs all of the competition that I can think of. It's just a very consistent and powerful weapon, and it's the reason that the Handmade got pushed down to number 4 on the list, because it just does the same thing that this gun does, but not quite as good. Now, you could argue that this is the number 1 automatic rifle in the game, but I do feel like the fact that it is always best to use it in stealth in comparison, then its, general usage isn't quite as varied. If you want to be a stealth character, this is your best gun, but if you want to be a non-stealth character, then it's not quite as strong as the first pick. So now we come to the king of automatic rifles, and it's gonna have to be the Railway Rifle. This thing has unparalleled damage in any form of any gun in the game. It has incredible crit, it has a massive fire rate, and is just one of the most consistently destructive weapons in the game. It does have some downsides, obviously. It is rather fragile and will break rather quickly. It is heavy as all hell as well, But you're seeing the damage this thing outputs. It completely minces just about any enemy you point it at with no effort whatsoever. The downside as well is it cannot be used in stealth. This thing is way too noisy to be a stealth weapon, but it makes up for that in the fact that anything, like literally, look at these super mutants explode. You're getting massive, massive, big damage from it. Now, it's relatively easy to get as well. On top of that, its ammo is literally just metal spikes. So to craft this ammo, you don't have to go through a lot of effort. And when you use this weapon to kill things, you get usually far more ammo back than you actually use in the first place. It's just an overall consistent and powerful weapon. And very easy to use, very broken, and even without a build, this thing will absolutely destroy things. It's just got such high damage per shot. And as I said, it's easy to get a hold of. You know, once you get to a certain level, this thing is just the go-to weapon by so many people. And its range is pretty awesome as well. Like, I can hit headshots on this thing from miles away. Overall, the railway rifle is just the king of damage, the king of speed, and the king of automatic rifles in Fallout 76. And of course, number one on the list, the railway rifle, Thomas the Spank Engine. Now this has armor penetration, hit chance in VATS, and reload speed. And if you look at the big chunky number we've got there, look at that damage it does per hit. Railway rifles are just unparalleled in being able to do shot-by-shot damage in a quick succession. You know, the only things that can even remotely compare to the singular damage from it are the massive explosive weapons like the cremator and the freaking Batman. Like, nothing else compares to the damage this thing's gonna do. You know, nuka grenades. You have to use top tier damage to even compete with this damn thing. And it does have its downsides. It's very fragile, just like the Tesla rifle and the Enclave Flamer are. Like, those weapons trade the massive amounts of damage they can do for being very fragile, and you do need to repair them a lot. But at the same time, it's worth it. It is worth it. They will completely slap around anything you point them at. And this one is just the king of that. You want to kill something far away, it'll kill it. You want to kill something close, it'll kill it. You want to nail someone to the wall, it'll do it. It's just a consistent, great weapon that doesn't necessarily require a build to work around it. If you actually put this weapon on without a build oriented directly towards it, you are actually still going to do decent damage. And that's the kind of thing about the Spank Engine. Like, you try and use a fixer on a non-commando build, it's not going to work as well. You try and use this on a non-commando build, it's just going to completely slap things about. And that is why it is my top pick for automatic rifles in Fallout 76. Now, this isn't a build video, and this certainly isn't optimized, but this is what I was using throughout the video to use these weapons and show you the kind of damage and the kind of things you can do with them. Obviously, we weren't taking on the Scorchbeast Queen or any of the bigger targets, but you can see the damage that they're doing in your day-to-day playing of the game, which is more important than what they do specifically to bosses a lot of the time, because that's what you're going to be encountering and playing against a lot. But when I say these weapons will, for the most part, absolutely demolish bosses in comparison to some of the other ones you're probably using, I'm 100% serious. They are very good weapons, very powerful weapons, and I would encourage you use all of them. Now, the thing when it comes to lists like this, we've all got different opinions, we've all got different thoughts on it, and you might think that one of the weapons should be higher on the list, or one of the weapons should be lower on the list, and that's absolutely fine. And I definitely recommend that you guys leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and tell me what you think about the list, and what you think should have been on here, shouldn't been on here, or if you think I'm completely accurate with what I've said. Either way, guys, as I said, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, we have our links down below, as well as our Discord server, which I would heavily encourage you join to take part in our community. I would love you guys to come in there and, you know, chat away. But either way, we'll end the video with a simple, I'll catch you all next time in the wasteland.
Through the dark, moonlight's dimly shedding, a shadow creeping. Feel your heart's in intertwining a twisted mind, seeking prey to devour. In the dead of the night, he gains more power. His bloodshot eyes, the fire burning within, a predator lurking ready to commit his sin. He moves in silence, you can't hear a sound, chasing shadows, hunting till you're found. Chasing shadows, he's the hunter in